Hey, you're listening to No Limits, a PlayStation podcast, episode 110. And on this episode, Bree leaves us for the PS5 Pro. Hello, everyone. My name is Taylor, and you're listening to No Limits, a PlayStation podcast, episode 110. I'm joined by my co-hosts, Sam and not Brianna. Brianna's writing, living her best life right now.
We tried to tell her that she wasn't wearing a parachute, but she didn't listen. You know, she jumped and rip. We got the venom out of you, though. You're back this week. We got the venom out, so that's.
Yeah, I am back. What do you think she's writing about?
Horrible, disgusting things, Taylor.
Well, she's into that, though.
Well, yeah, I'm not saying. Well, yeah, but that doesn't preclude her from writing it. You know, it almost probably enhances the chances that she's writing something of that ilk. So,
Bree, if you're listening to this, send us in the host group chat that you acknowledge that you're writing about funny things.
I'd rather not. You know, I think the less we know, the better. Spare ourselves.
All right, fair enough. Fair enough. Remember, you can find a video version of this podcast over on youtube.com/SaveTheGameMedia every Tuesday. And while you're over there, make sure to subscribe to the channel. If you'd rather listen to audio, we are on all your favorite podcast services. We would love it if you could leave us a review. It helps us grow, and we would love any feedback. Sam, do you hear some helicopter at my mic right now?
I mean, it's very faint. I would never have been able to guess that it was a helicopter.
All right. If it gets too loud, let me know, and I can close my window. Anyway.
Okay.
If you want to support us and get early access to all Save the Game Media content, head over to patreon.com/SaveTheGameMedia and choose the tier that's right for you. Just like our current patrons did: Fabulous Brianna, Brianna's mom, Brianna's brother, Lindsay, Nikolai, Knight, Zephyr Primus, Brenton Myers, Marcus O'Neill, Lillian, Mimi J, David Hodright, Dave Harp, the Xbox Expansion Pass, Alpaca Tom, Lee Navarro, Sol Cannon, Ellery Woods Parker III, Shelby Massey, Chad, and Rick Davis. Whew. Interact with us in the Discord as well. Thank you, patrons, and links are all in the show notes. How are we doing today, Sammy?
I'm doing pretty good. I haven't officially been signed off on Star Wars Outlaws. It's been a while, Taylor. You know, I've missed you. So I can't even remember where me and you left things off. But I have done all I can until I am either given further feedback or signed off for Star Wars Outlaws. So the past week or so has been a bit lighter in terms of responsibilities. So I've taken some downtime to just relax and do some stuff. Yeah, but I'm pretty good. How about you?
Good for you, man. Doing pretty good as well. Work's busy and kind of crazy, but doing all right. Let's see. I guess I can't talk about it without exposing where I work. I can talk to you about it offline.
Yeah. Some stuff's going down. Yeah.
Or the patrons, yeah. Do you know of it?
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Got to do what you got to do, you know?
Got to do what you got to do, yeah. Let's see. Other than that, I saw Alien Romulus yesterday, Sam.
Oh. Thoughts?
Yeah, I think it's a good Alien movie, better action movie.
Okay.
And they had some excellent set pieces. Like, I'm very glad I saw it on the big screen. Fede Alvarez knew what he was doing.
Yeah. I've heard good things. So
yeah.
I did debate it a few times to go see it in theaters, but probably just wait till it's available at home, which I know will detract from the experience. I like the pure sort of cinema, but not at the top of my priority list when it released, and I feel I sort of missed the window, which is completely false and not true at all. But you know, I'll keep telling myself it to make myself feel better.
Yeah. You're an Alien fan, right, Sam?
I am, yes, indeed. I got a Xenomorph Funko Pop over there from several years ago. At this point, just sitting there,
Good.
Big fan.
You've seen Covenant, right?
Mm-hmm.
I've seen all the films except for Resurrection, and I have no interest in seeing Resurrection.
Yeah.
So let me put it this way: if I were to rank Alien films that I've seen, I guess everything but Resurrection, I think I'd go Alien, Aliens, Romulus,
No.
Alien 3, Prometheus, Covenant.
Okay.
That's my take. There are tons of callbacks to the first film. Actually, it might be more worth your time before you see Romulus to rewatch the original Alien. There's a lot of callbacks.
Interesting. Okay. I'll keep that in mind.
Yeah. Well, going into it, I was like, I don't need to. I've seen the first film at least like 3 or 4 times.
Mhm.
But as I was watching it, I caught references, and I'm like, more references would I have caught if I just saw the first film going into this?
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Let's see what else. Oh yeah, I finally saw Evil Dead 2013. It's the other thing I did when I was gone, Sam.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
I begrudgingly got through it. Well, like not because it was bad, it's because of the gore. But yeah.
Sure. It gets pretty crazy towards the end there. I mean, throughout, but certainly towards the end.
Yeah, but some of the shots were crazy excellent. Like a lot of the shots with red and blood outside, like it seemed very. How do I describe this? Almost like red synthy type.
Yeah,
shots.
I know. I know what you mean. Yeah.
And they're very good. I thought it was a really fun reboot. I've heard good things about Rise. That'll be on my list. I know it's not Alvarez doing that one, but someone else.
Yeah. Yeah, I haven't seen Rise, but I mean, nothing's going to beat the originals for me.
No,
just
same for me.
Campy and fun they are. But
Bruce Campbell and like how much comedy there is. Yeah.
Yeah, but no, I mean, like you say, it's a cool reinvention. Like I don't mind that it's got the Evil Dead name, which I think is probably the highest praise I can give it. Whereas it is a very different film, obviously, because it leans far more into the horror, but and the gore, but it still fits, which I think is good.
Yeah. Yep. I still need to watch Ash versus Evil Dead. Have you seen the show?
No. I keep meaning to get to it, but it keeps sort of falling down the priority list because just other new stuff comes out that I feel I need to be in the zeitgeist for. So sort of on the back burner where I will definitely watch it at some point, but because the moment's passed, I'll just get to it when I get to it.
Gotcha. Yeah, let's see. What have I actually been? Yeah, so that's what I've been watching. What have you been playing, Sam? How are you? Well, you said how are you doing? You're doing some outlaw stuff.
Yeah.
But Astrobot, of course.
Yeah, I mean, this is how long you've been gone, Taylor, Like it's crazy stuff. Yeah, I have obviously, as you can imagine, as I talked about, I think last week with Bree, finished and platinumed Astrobot.
Wow.
It is took me about just north of 15 hours to do everything.
Nice.
And I certainly didn't rush anything. I sort of took my time with it. I said last week with Bree, we talked about it, and I remain steadfast. It is going to be my game of the year. And it's, again, not very funny how wide the gap is between Astrobot and anything else. So it is. We don't get games like that from PlayStation anymore. And for it to be something that is easily the best platform that PlayStation has ever made, anything within PlayStation, and for it to then not that I'm an aficionado, but for it to rival a lot of Mario stuff, I think, in terms of innovation and sort of just throwing new ideas at you, and obviously visuals and the haptics and just the fun and the references and the music. Jesus Christ, the music. Yeah, I won't say anything, obviously, because I don't know if you've started it or whatever, or if you haven't touched it yet. But it is magical, and I look forward to being able to talk with you about it fully. So outside of Astrobot, I have actually started going through it again, showing it to some family, because my dad's a bit of a gamer, so he's sort of dipping his toes into
Right. Good.
Yeah. I also obviously finished Outlaws, platinum that as well, and then this last week, because I had a bit of downtime, I went on a rip and tear, Taylor. That sounds like a Doom reference. Didn't mean it to be a Doom reference.
More eBay?
No, not that stuff. I think let me just check one.
Oh yeah, in the episodes I missed, did you share your eBay snipe?
Yes, I did. Did you not? You don't watch the content, Taylor? You don't.
I watch the content when I'm on the content.
Yeah, I did, and I did actually technically preempt you saying that you didn't catch it. So the eBay snipe is this bad boy.
Ooh, how much was that, Sam?
It was £60.
Is it heavy?
No. I mean,
Wait,
it's got some weight to it, but it's
is
not
it plugged in?
No, it's
Battery?
Yeah, it's with a switch. But I said to Bree when we talked about it, this came with
Killzone 3, maybe.
Killzone 3. It was the collector's edition.
Right.
But the special thing, and why I called it the sniper of the century, is that those eyes don't light up. But very few people know that there was, in fact, a limited collector's edition of Killzone 3 that was never available for purchase. It was given to media outlets. It was given away in giveaways from PlayStation and certain like influencers at the time. Limited to 1,000 units worldwide.
Wow.
And I now have one. So yeah, I saw the eBay listing, and I saw that it talked about the eyes lighting up. I was like, have you custom done this? He's like, no, I'm pretty sure all of the eyes light up. It's just that in all the other listings, they aren't showing the eyes lit up. I'm like,
and you didn't contradict him?
No, I'm not. I was like, I'm not going to say anything, because if you realize that, then
yes,
I certainly wouldn't have got it for that price.
Your seller didn't know what they had.
Exactly. So I did luckily get away with probably the steal of the century, at least
good for you.
In my space. And it's not an eBay haul I actually want to give away, but I also got a Garrus statue from Mass Effect, which is pretty cool. But Garrus is easily my favorite character out of maybe Thane, maybe. But yeah, Mass Effect is also legendary. So, but what have I been playing? To get back to that, now that I've caught you up on the eBay thing, I earned a total of 6 platinums this week, Taylor.
Oh God, what are you playing? Like 2-hour instructional kids game, Sam?
No.
Just farming the platinum?
No, I sink to those lows very rarely, Taylor.
Okay.
Very, very rarely. So I platinumed Vampire Survivors.
That seems kind of hard to platinum. Is it not?
It's not. No, it takes a little bit of time. Nothing like crazy grindy. You just got to do a few specific things and sort of keep that in mind.
Right.
And because I played it on Steam, I knew how the achievements worked, so I sort of had that foresight going in. I didn't get all the trophies because I don't know whether you know. Vampire Survivors on PlayStation 5, 221 trophies.
Jesus.
Yeah, not all of those are required for the platinum. There are like separate lists.
That's the thing.
But none of them are like from the DLC. So
if you say you 100% a game, then it can always be different from if you got the platinum, because once DLC comes out, your percentage gets knocked lower because there's new trophies.
Yeah. So my Vampire Survivors percentage is actually 57%, but I've got the platinum. And then it was just clearing through some of my backlog that's been sitting there for a long time for the rest, because Vampire Survivors is new to PlayStation in the past couple of weeks. So I played through Little Nightmares 2. Had a good time with that. I liked the first game, so I never played the second, and the second came to PlayStation Plus this month. I played through Call of Cthulhu because I'm a bit of a Lovecraft nut, so any chance I can get to play through those. The Last Campfire, which is a little puzzle game from Hello Games, the people who did No Man's Sky. That was like quite a short one, a few hours long. I played through Vacation Simulator for PSVR 2. That was the free VR game given away this month. Played through that. And then the most recent one I platinumed was Rollerdrome, which was the Annapurna published from the studio that I think actually got shut down recently, who did Ollie Ollie World as well. That was really good. Really, really, really good game. I highly encourage people to play through that. I think it's on PS Plus. I think that's how I played it. If not, it was one of the monthly games a while back. But if you have access to it and haven't played it, I highly encourage it.
All right.
And I haven't finished it, but the only other thing I'm playing, weirdly, is I've gone back to the original Watch Dogs.
Watch Dogs 1.
Yeah. On PS4, played via digitally via my PS5. Reason being that I loved Watch Dogs 2, platinum that years back. Like really loved Watch Dogs 2, and I saw some gameplay of Watch Dogs 2 on Twitter, I think, or on YouTube or something, a short somewhere, and it gave me a hankering to play Watch Dogs, any Watch Dogs apart from Legion, because. And I thought, well, I kind of didn't really ever give. Watch Dogs 1 came out in an era where I wasn't really giving games a shot if they didn't grab me immediately. And I feel I sort of matured a little bit as a consumer and as a gamer. So I was like, I'll give it another shot. And I've gone back and I'm having a better time. I still think it's not great, but I'm having a good enough time. Will I see it through? Will I platinum it? Not sure. Probably not. But it was nice to take a little trip down memory lane at the very least. But that's all I've been playing. Sorry for the ramble, but it was a lot this week. What about you?
Wow. No, I love it. I love it. Well, Sam, in classic Taylor fashion, yesterday I just finished Astro's Playroom. And I got all the artifacts, all the puzzle pieces and all the artifacts in each level, but including CPU Plaza. Yes, I got those puzzle pieces too. But I was grinding out the gacha because I saved it all to the end. And there's 4 extra gacha orbs that I need to break, like the ones that were added on for PS5 hardware.
Yeah.
Like I got the PS Portal yesterday and a PSVR 2 controllers and stuff like that. So I have like 400 more coins to grind, and then I could do that. I think I'm only all the trophies I have left for the platinum. I was looking at some of the hints yesterday, some of the reveals. They're all just kind of more Easter eggs in the levels that I'm missing. Nothing that no collectible that I missed. So I'm probably not going to grind those out. I think I'm just going to get the rest of the artifacts they added, and then retire Astro's Playroom. Very fun. I've never played a PS5 game either, that used the turbo on, I'll call it the turbo on the adaptive triggers so well as Astro's Playroom. And next, Astro Bot is on the docket next. And also I have it, I looked at it, I think I'm going to do it, but it's spooky season, Sam, and I just saw Evil Dead, and I feel like maybe that was my over the hump moment on horror films. Maybe I can now make the jump to third person horror video games. Resident Evil 2, remake is on sale for $10. It goes on sale so often, everyone knows this, but I feel like it might be time. It might be time for me to try it. Try third-person horror game. Resident Evil 7 I couldn't get through. But I don't know. With third person, I have renowned hope that I maybe will.
Yeah, RE2 Remake is excellent. Yeah, really, it kind of renewed my love for Resident Evil, honestly, because I played through 7 fully in VR, as I've said many times. And I like 8 enough, but then with RE2 Remake, it is just so good. RE3 Remake less so, and RE4 is obviously excellent. But yeah, if you're gonna go for a spooky thing, I can't think of anything better personally. Outside of, like, I guess technically Alan Wake 2. But
Oh yeah, I said that was on my list, didn't I? Well,
you did.
still is eventually. This is how Terror
Yeah.
works, guys.
Yeah.
I say I'm gonna play a game and then I don't, and then I play a different game instead. But the point is that I will play a game, and I will beat the game. It just may take me 4 months.
Yeah. So you got a 1-up on Bree there at the very least.
Yeah.
Although I think Bree did technically, by this metric, finish Astro's Playroom before you.
Yes.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, I think there's an Astro bot. There are all these bots to collect. There's more collectibles around than Playroom. It would seem.
Yes.
All right, let me just give a small shout out here. The graphical world of SSD Speedway and Astro's Playroom, where you're the glider level, insane. Absolutely insane. That jumped out to me the most graphically. But in terms of mechanics, in terms of I'll call it the vehicles, the suits that Astro zips up and uses, I think I had the most fun with the monkey suit.
Mm-hmm.
The Super Monkey Ball suit was fun, too, granted. The rolling marble suit, I'll call it. The marble suit.
Yeah. But. Oh, Taylor, you haven't seen anything yet, my dear boy.
I know. Yeah, let's see. Astrobot is $60, right?
Yes.
Not 70?
60, yeah.
Yep. I think I'll be using my credit card rewards for that one.
Hell yeah.
Yes. This is small sidebar in Astro. I heard my friend Donnie from PSVG mention this, and I feel like it's a good point. Is PlayStation cannot keep feeding on the Super Smash Bros. Nostalgia that Astro brings forever, quote unquote. On the next, at some point, there's going to be a time where they just need to. I don't know. I think what I'm trying to say is, going forward with Astro, PlayStation still has to focus on doing great level design, not just callbacks to references of the titles that they support. They should still be in the game, but I think they should not be the focal point as we progress in these games moving forward.
I will say, without spoiling anything, obviously, I would argue that the PlayStation stuff is not at all the focal point.
Oh, it isn't? Okay.
Like, you could strip out all of the PlayStation stuff, with the exception of like 1 or 2 things, which I won't say. And it would still just be an excellent platformer. Like, almost all of the levels, whilst they have little PlayStation bots in them, have nothing to do with PlayStation. So it is just platforming levels that happen to have PlayStation characters that you can collect in them. So I agree with you, though. I think that it certainly shouldn't be ever the core focal point, because Astro is strong enough with this game alone to sort of stand apart away from that stuff. But it is, I think, at least partially integral to his DNA, just due to the lineage and what has come before it. I think there will always, like you say, be a part of his games that are referencing PlayStation or hold a reverence for it. Like, I don't see a world where in any future Astro games his spaceship isn't a PS5 or a PS console. That sort of stuff. But yeah, we'll see. We'll see. I do think that there is also an argument that could be made without spoilers, that there is scope for furthering the PlayStation reference stuff. And you will understand what I mean when you play the game.
All right, fair enough. Maybe I've gone preemptive, Sam.
Maybe. I don't think it's a wrong point. I just think that it's a multifaceted perspective, I think, to have. Well, I don't know that either side is mutually exclusive. I think you can have one where Astrobot is still very much able to stand on its own, but still have the PlayStation stuff, which I think that may have been the original point. I'm not sure. I didn't hear what he said, but yeah, no, it's so good. Me and Brie were saying, like, immediately Asobi is S tier studio. Like, it's that good.
Where did Asobi come from, really? I forget. Was it Matt? Was it from the dissolved Japan studio? Came back into Team Asobi. Some of those folks.
Well, Asobi Studio was like a side team within or underneath Japan Studio. And then obviously Japan Studio sort of dissolved, and then Asobi rebranded as Team Asobi and became like the only Japanese studio that PlayStation has now, technically. But yeah, like a lot of people, or no, I'm not going to say a lot of people, but a fair number of people from Japan Studio were then brought into Asobi. So yeah, it is essentially the remnants of Japan Studio, along with people that were sort of brought in from various different walks of life. It's a small team, but they're working some magic.
You got to imagine how much time elapses before they go from sustaining support mode to work on the next game.
I wouldn't be surprised if that is already happening. They have free DLC announced that is coming before the end of the year for Astrobot. And I would imagine, I don't know, there is a world where they could do additional DLC drops, like with additional levels and speedrun stuff, which is what this DLC drop is going to be. But I don't know. I think with how critically successful at the very least, and initial indications suggest sales are also pretty solid, I would hope that PlayStation will probably just sort of like, let's get the ball rolling on the next one. And Nicolas Doucet, who is the studio head and creative director at Asobi, said that if the team were to scale up and hire people, rather than expanding the scope of their games, they would just fraction off and have multiple projects concurrently, which I think is absolutely the right call, where they would still make the sort of 10 to 15 hour games, but just be working on several of them at once, which is an exciting prospect, because
yay,
if we get games like Astrobot from them every year and a half or something, staggered obviously between their teams, oh boy.
I'm curious, what was the budget for Astrobot?
We don't know, I don't think officially, but it is, I mean, it's not going to be anywhere close to what they spent on God of Wars.
This is what I'm saying. I think we talked about it on previous episodes.
Yeah.
This is the way. Make like 6 to make. If you make, I'd rather have 3 fantastic, 5 to 15 hour, no, 5 to, let's even just say 5 to 10 hour games. Or let me rephrase it this way. I'd rather have more frequent, lower budget, 5 to 10 hour games than putting all your eggs in one basket on a blockbuster $200, $300, $400 million GTA 6, 500. What is it? Maybe even close to $1 billion. I don't know. Dollar game at one time. What a massive gamble. And you can take these smaller steps and have great success.
Yeah. And I think the future success for PlayStation does lie in a balance between the two, where you can still have the big blockbusters that everybody expects and loves from PlayStation, but that doesn't preclude a splinter team within each studio, or even just a few studios, to do these smaller scoped, smaller budgeted, not 40-hour long games, that you can get them out at a faster click, which will not only resolve some of your financial issues, but will also help to fill in gaps in your software slot every year, where you can get content out more frequently, which I don't know how important that is to them in the position that they find themselves in success-wise, but it will at least placate the community far more. So we'll see. I'm optimistic, though. I think that we were all hoping that Astrobot could be like a turning point and like the beginning of a new renaissance, at least to some degree, within PlayStation. And I think that is only going to be cemented further with how seemingly successful the game has been. Fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed. Yep. Sam, do you hear any background on my end still?
No, I'm nothing. Nothing.
All right,
in my ears.
Good. Sweet. All right. This week, I guess moving on to the news. So we got officially our PS5 Pro announcement. It is here and it is real and it is a lot of money and most people probably don't need it. But let's get into the details here. So the PS5 Pro was revealed on a technical keynote 10-minute presentation by Mark Cerny this past week. And they also released an extensive PlayStation blog post about it. And the PS5 Pro, that is the name of the console, a PlayStation 5 Pro, launches November 7th at $699.99 USD. It includes a 2 terabyte SSD, a DualSense controller, and Astro's Playroom, like the regular PS5 does. And it launches diskless with the disk drive expansion separately for $79.99 and vertical stand at $29.99. What that means is if you want a vertical stand and a disk drive, you're looking at $810 US before tax, which probably means, depending on where you live, this is comparable to other territories. You're spending probably up near closing in on $1,000 of your currency of choice between the euro, pound, or the dollar, everything included. Or I guess that would be around 100,000-ish yen, roughly. Let's see. What did the blog actually say for the price conversion?
I mean, the conversion rates are rough because it's $699 here, and that so it's actually like
$699 in Britain, 800 euros in EU territories, and about 120,000 yen.
Yeah.
Yeah. So moving on. So some notable features that the PS5 Pro has, or like I said, 2 terabyte SSD is the first big one. That doubles the storage of the PS5. I guess it's probably going to be maybe 1.85 terabytes of usable space because of the system hardware that comes pre-installed. And also it comes with an upgraded GPU that is 67% more compute units, quote, than the current PS5 console and 28% faster memory. Overall, this enables up to 45% faster rendering for gameplay, making the experience much smoother. And it has advanced ray tracing. We've added even more powerful ray tracing that provides more dynamic reflection and refraction of light. This allows the rays to be cast at double and at times triple the speeds of the current PS5. And AI-driven upscaling, PLS Spectral Super Resolution. I'm calling it PISR. Deal with it.
Most are.
Yeah. And it's an AI-driven upscaling technology that uses machine learning to provide super sharp image clarity by adding an extraordinary amount of detail. This is the kind of AI applications I want, all right? Not this replace my job stuff. Just make my games run better. Make them run better on worse hardware. That's what I want AI for, right?
Yep.
The PS5 Pro will also have PS5 Pro Game Boost, which stabilizes or improves performance of PS4 and PS5 supported titles. And enhanced image quality for PS4 games focuses on resolution improvement. It's not exactly clear yet which games get the PS5 Pro Game Boost and what their new frame rates will look like. Is it, well, they said in the article, I think, over
8,500 games.
Yeah, sorry, over 8,500 backwards compatible PS4 games playable on PS5
Which
Pro.
you would imagine is like...
Sorry, it says can apply. Okay.
Yeah.
So this is smart marketing. That's the entire amount of PS4 games that are back compat. Of those, I'm going to guess less than a quarter will be supported, but should be interesting. Like I think in the technical presentation, they showed Borderlands. I don't know if it was Borderlands 3, but it was a Borderlands game that had a higher frame rate on the PS5 Pro. Maybe for games that were hard-coded into 30 FPS, like on PS5, such as or PS4. Red Dead Redemption 2. Maybe. What if that gets a kick to 60, I don't know. But granted, running Red Dead 2 at 60 FPS at 4K is actually very difficult for even excellent PCs.
Yeah.
Also a handful of games are already PS5 Pro enhanced. The PS5 Pro also launches with Wi-Fi 7, VRR, and 8K support. At 8K, guys, yeah. And there are games that are already PS5 Pro enhanced, including but not limited to Alan Wake 2, Assassin's Creed Shadows, Demon's Souls, Dragon's Dogma 2, Final Fantasy 7 Rebirth, Gran Turismo 7, Hogwarts Legacy, Horizon Forbidden West, Spider-Man 2, Ratchet & Clank Rift Apart, The Crew Motorfest, First Ascendant, and The Last of Us Part 2 Remastered. And dimensionally, for the console's actual physical dimensions, the height and width are the same as the original PS5. Yep. So this is the rundown. Sam, what do we think?
I seem to be in.
You shill, Sam.
Clearly, yeah. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong, but I feel like this happened last time with the PS4 Pro and the Xbox One X, where there was a whole hullabaloo about it costing more, and how good are the improvements? What am I looking at? It's like playing spot the difference, yada yada yada. I get it. It is a lot of money. There's no denying that. But and I'm not going to proclaim to be like a PC or a tech expert at all. But from the research that I've done, it does seem apparent that if you are looking for a comparable experience with a PC build, you will be paying more than 700. Considerably more. If you're actually really looking for everything, for the graphics, for the frame rates, for the ray tracing, for the, I guess DLSS would be the equivalent of the PSSR upscaling. All of those things, you would be paying a lot more than 700. Now, does that excuse 700? Is it still a very bitter pill to swallow? No doubt. But I think, I don't know, there's a lot of like FUD and I think disingenuous anger going on here from certain people, where they're viewing this as if it's the PlayStation 6, and it's like, well, if you want to get the next new thing, you're going to have to fork out 700. And it's like, well, yes, technically that's true, but this is the Pro, not the PS6. If people are solely focusing on the idea that it sets a price precedent, that I can maybe buy into more. But you are, if you have a PS5, you don't have to upgrade. In the same way that the PS4 Pro, you didn't have to upgrade. If you are looking for the best experience and you are a console-centric person who doesn't have any interest in playing on PC but wants the best experience that you can get and have disposable income to afford it, they are giving you the option. And I admit it's hard for me to necessarily, at least from the presentation that they gave, notice any substantial differences. But I'm not geared that way, so I can't speak
Wait,
for certain.
Sam.
Yes.
Wait. There might be one way I would get a PS5 Pro.
Okay.
Can you guess? Can you guess how that would be?
No, enlighten me.
What if they make Bloodborne at 60 FPS as an enhanced game?
I mean, 8,500 games is a whole lot, you know.
They could totally
Odds
do that
are,
for the base
Bloodborne
model.
is probably one of them. But they're remaking Bloodborne, so we'll see.
Right, Sam. That's never going to happen. Keep dreaming. Well, the 10th anniversary is literally this April.
Taylor, I'm just saying.
Dude, don't do
we'll
it.
see.
Okay, anyway.
Yeah, like it's an enthusiast thing, right? Like, and people know that, but they like to be angry and upset. And there are reasons to be angry and upset, but a lot of the stuff that they're saying that they're angry and upset about, it's like, well, Sony is giving you a piece of hardware that is optional that you don't have to buy. Yes, it's a lot of money, but you buy it and you don't have to then, outside of the stand and the disk drive, which again is another arguably more valid point of criticism, you don't have to upgrade it. So you can then just ride on that $700 for the remainder of the generation, and for as long as you want until the PS6 comes out. And even then, you can just ride Pro probably for a number of years after that point with cross-generational titles. So yeah, the whole like maybe it's time to shift to PC thing. I mean, sure, if you have interest in playing on PC, but most people vastly prefer a console experience.
I have a hot take.
Sure.
I think I'm shifting towards console more than PC. I'm barely touching my PC, Sam. I'm playing games a lot less, and when I do, it's always on my console.
He's dabbled and he's turned back to the light.
So next, when it comes to, I think I'll still maintain a good,
of course,
a good desktop personal computer, but I'll be spending like $500-ish less on the build because I'll just want a good processor and I don't need a good GPU. I'll rely on my console for that.
Yeah, and again, I'm not downplaying anybody who does want to shift to PC, and I think that the more that these kind of moves happen in the console space, you will see more people at least dabble in the idea of PC gaming, which is fine. But I have no interest at all. I also have no interest in buying the PS5 Pro. I won't be buying it.
Same. I'd rather put the money towards the PS6.
Yeah, or just stockpile it and spend the money on the games. So it's like I don't know. Yeah, it's not for everyone. Sony knows that. If they were trying to make it for everyone, they wouldn't have priced it at 700. But I think, again, not being a tech expert, everything inside the console seems to suggest that it is arguably worth the $700. And even then, they might be underselling it, given the comprehensiveness of all of the tech that is in there. And everybody has been saying, Digital Foundry included, that PSSR in the console space could be like a game changer. And I understand that in the same way that DLSS was for PC. That remains to be seen how that materializes, of course. Nobody has a crystal ball. I don't know. But PS4 Pro made up 10 to 15% of the overall PS4 install base. And that, when you're speaking about an install base of over 100 million consoles, that's like 15 million PS4 Pros. So, do I expect the PS5 Pro to hit that? No. Do I expect it to be close? Probably.
All right. So my retort to that is, I think you're missing an important detail. When the PS4 Pro came out, that was around 2016. That was 2017, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
That was really during the transition when 4K was becoming the new norm over 1080p.
Sure.
And to support the 4K resolution on that resolution shift, you needed some more juice to do it. Also at launch, I think it was kind of a known fact. The PS4 had a bit less power than people were necessarily expecting for that jump. So with the jump to 4K, I think there was a market utility that the PS4 Pro offered. 4K was the new display resolution that games were going to be created for moving forward, and the PS4 Pro could give you a better experience at the 4K resolution, or games that support that resolution that previously didn't. Whereas on the PS5 Pro, 8K is nowhere near towards being mature. I'd say it's close to a decade out from even thinking about being in the mass market. And because of that fact, also the PS4 Pro launched at, what was it, 400 to 500 US dollars? Let's see. PS4 Pro launch price. I can tell you it was way less than 700. PS4 Pro launched at, $400. Right. And yes, that was 2017, but adjusted for inflation, it's still substantially less than the PS5 Pro was. Sure. Yes, the PS5 Pro was giving you a lot more, but the relative Pro experience was way more affordable for the general consumer, especially those who were switching over to 4K. Also, it was only, I think for that reason, the PS5 Pro will sell significantly less as a percentage of total console lifetime sales than the PS4 Pro did. But it's still waits to be seen how much of that PS4 library and that PS5 library will get a bump on PS5 Pro. Like I said, if PSSR gives you a way to do Bloodborne at 60 FPS, maybe I really, really have to consider it. I'm seeing trade-ins for the PS5 base model nearing $400 right now. It's about a three. When all is said and done, I guess that would include me getting the disk drive. Well, it's still a lot of money. $400 before tax. I guess without the stand, $370 or so.
Yeah.
But yeah, I guess no. Even if they did Bloodborne that way, unless PS6 wasn't backwards compatible or they didn't give me a way to play Bloodborne 60 FPS on the PS5 or PS6 platform without the PS5 Pro, that's the only way I'd get the PS5 Pro. I'm that guy for that one game. Other than that, I respect its existence.
Like, there's no denying that, and it's not a new bit of information. We are in the era of diminishing returns.
Right.
Every every successive console generation has been diminishing returns since the PS3, arguably PS2. But anyway, so I get it that yes, the necessity for improving experiences is greatly diminished in comparison to the PS4 Pro, no doubt about it. But again, PSSR could be like radically game changing in the console space. Obviously, things like that exist in the PC space, but again, there are many people who just have no interest in PC gaming. So that remains to be seen how much of a shift that can make, if the impact that it has is significant enough. Maybe I'm being too pragmatic about it, but I just find it hard to see how vitriolic people are getting about it when it is, as any pro version of a console has been historically, an enthusiast item that the companies aren't trying to like rapidly sell you. It's like, we are giving you an option that has all of these different improvements. It is up to you to decide whether that is worth it to you. Price gouging or not, there may well be a premium on it because of the brand and the position that the brand finds itself in right now. Maybe. But yeah, I don't know. I find it hard to have any really real reaction to it. It's sort of like, it exists. I'm going to wager it's going to sell out. Anecdotal evidence already suggests that that might well be the case because the detachable disk drives have sold out. since this announcement of the PS5 Pro. So I don't know. There is an audience for this, whether you like it or not. I'm not saying you, Taylor. I mean just anybody, whether any individual likes it or not, whether
Tell me
they're
how it is,
interested
Sam.
in the Pro or not.
Tell me how
There's
it is.
an audience for this.
Tell me how low I am, Sam.
You dirty little boy.
Whoa. That's for the post show, Sam.
Yeah, so I don't know. Like, it is what it is. It will sell. How well? I don't know. But I'm sure that PlayStation aren't expecting it to do crazy numbers. They're not stupid. They know that 700 is a lot. But there will be an audience that pays for it. Because in the same way that there are people that buy Apple phones every year for far more money than $700, just for the incremental upgrades and to say that they have the newest best thing. PlayStation are, whether you like it or not, getting to that stage where they are just synonymous with games. They are the default choice for many, and that does give them a certain amount of leverage in the space in terms of deciding price. And you don't have to like it. It's just, it is what it is. I'm not going to buy it. You don't have to buy it. You can just wait for the next generation of consoles and decide what you want to do then. So you're cool. I will also say, and there will be people that don't think that this is going to be a big deal, and it's been said before, but like, GTA 6 is a thing. And it is a thing.
6, yeah.
It is a thing that is not launching on PC. So with the sheer amount of pull that GTA 6 will have in terms of software sales, and people that will rapidly almost only play GTA 6 when it comes out, whether they have a console right now or not, there is no question that the best experience for GTA 6 will be on the PS5 Pro. And that will be enough to make people buy it. Again, how many people? Who knows? But if there is one game that can shift a Pro version of hardware, a new Grand Theft Auto is probably your best bet. More so than any Call of Duty, more so than anything. So, again, whether that does anything for you as an individual, that's subjective. But the market will likely reflect that this is going to do pretty well. And that might be all that Sony are looking for. I don't know.
Yep, the GTA 6 wildcard.
Yep.
It's not coming out 2025. Sidebar.
You say that, but Schreier is saying that people internally at Rocksteady are saying it is. So
Rocksteady, huh?
Rockstar, sorry.
It's okay. I wish Rocksteady doesn't die. I hope they don't.
Yeah, shaky ground for them. But.
Fair enough. Well, do they really have to charge for a vertical stand, man? Why can't they just include the stupid little one that comes with the console?
Yeah, that is like, I think the only twist of the knife for me, where that does seem a little bit nickel and dimey, egregious. I get the disk drive thing, because if you include the disk drive, you're going to have like an $800 console, and I don't think that they want to do that. I think that is overstepping the line. So they want to keep costs down as much as possible and just have it as an optional thing, even if most people would then want the drive. But yeah, the stand is a bit. You could have probably chucked that in there, bundled it, but I don't know. Tech. This isn't copium. I'm just saying it because it is technically true. You don't actually need the stand to stand it vertically. It just secures it.
It's true. It's true. And also, if you're standing it vertically in a place where it could be tipped over, that's your fault.
Yeah.
That's your fault.
Yeah. Again, like, that doesn't excuse it at all. But I'm saying that if people aren't aware of that fact, that you can still technically stand it, depending on your entertainment center or wherever you have your PS5. you could like just stand it up and either have it between two things or up against a wall, and it's not going to be leaning, it's not going to be very precariously wobbling and falling over. It's just about stability, which again, if you're spending $700 for a console, you would probably want it to be as secure as possible. So, and Sony knows that, and they know that people will pay the money, which is why they're doing it, which I don't like. But if you really don't want the stand, then you don't have to get the stand. That's all I was pointing out.
Fair enough. Oh, and it was a little unclear to me if the existing covers will work on if the covers. I don't know how the covers work for the PS5 Pro. It was a little weird to me in the article. The article said
as they become available or something. Was the
verbiage. Players can add an Ultra HD Blu-ray disc drive or swap out console covers when they become available. I mean, it has some blades on the side of it that were not on the base PS5, so it looks like the covers would be separate on the PS5 Pro.
I would assume that because it has the same height and width of the base PS5, but it has the additional slits in the middle, like the Slim, but more. Neither the covers for the Slim or the base model will work, and there'll be Pro-specific covers, which is what the verbiage would indicate as well. But it is a bit unclear, so I'm not going to speak with certainty on that. But dimensionally speaking, if the console is the same as the PS5, not the Slim, the covers of the Slims would look like they'd fit better given the slits, but obviously they're not the same size, so I can't see that working.
Yeah. Oh, sidebar, Sam. I don't know. I just thought of this now. When I demoed Astrobot at PAX West, I got to use the Astrobot Special Edition DualSense in person. I regret not getting it after seeing how it looked in person. It is a sexy controller. Yeah,
everywhere I've looked, even though there have been a few mentions of restocks, they've still been unavailable. So I'll keep my ear to the ground because I would like to have it. But yeah, like I'll just admire it from afar and be jealous of those that do have it.
Fair enough. Next. So yeah, that's the PS5 Pro.
Do with that what you will, ladies and gents. I'll tackle this one, Taylor.
All right.
A relatively succinct one, but we got a substantial update for the PS5 system software, which brings in the Welcome Hub, brings in party share and 3D audio profiles, amongst other things. So the Welcome Hub is a new arrival screen for the PS5, previously the Explore screen, which was only available in the US. We didn't have the Explore screen over here or anywhere else. And this Welcome Hub will now include information about your console storage levels, battery levels, your friends lists, trophies, etc. All with customizable widgets. You can change the size of, you can remove ones that you don't want, you can order them and place them in different places. And the background for the Welcome Hub can be changed from a variety of presets, nice little animations, or you can select photos you've taken from your own media gallery. Still no themes though, rest in peace. The party share feature enables party voice chat links to be shared on social media or messaging apps, even if this person that you are sharing them to is not currently your friend on PlayStation Network. Quote, to create a party link, open the voice chat card in the control center on PS5, select invite players, then click share party link to generate a scannable QR code. Recipients can then open the link on their mobile device and seamlessly join the party on their PS5 or from the PlayStation app. The PlayStation 5 beta also brings personalized 3D audio profiles and adaptive controller charging. For the charging, the 3D audio profiles is relatively self-explanatory. You can personalize audio profiles across users and switch things up depending on what audio works for you, obviously best with headphones, etc., etc. And then the adaptive charging, quote, Adaptive charging for the DualSense wireless controller, DualSense Edge wireless controller, PlayStation VR2 Sense controllers, and Access controller is now available for the slimmer PS5 model when the console is in rest mode, in brackets, and will also be available for PS5 Pro when it launches. Adaptive charging helps save power by adjusting the length of time that power is supplied to your controller based on its battery level. Just how you use it once the update is rolled out for you, which is rolling out worldwide over the next week or two. I think it's already available in the US.
Well, I think that's for beta, though. It's a beta.
Oh yeah, of course, for this specific thing. I mean, the Welcome Hub thing in general is out now, I think, for the US.
But the personalized 3D audio and the adaptive controller targeting are still beta. Yeah.
So when it does come out of beta into full release, or if you're a beta tester, to use the adaptive charging, you want to go to Settings, System, Power Saving, Features available in rest mode, and then select Supply Power to USB ports, and then Adaptive. Which after your PS5 enters rest mode, if a controller isn't connected, the power supply to the USB port will stop after a certain period of time. All of this coming from the PlayStation blog, of course. Nifty. These are good features, I think. I know you spoke before we started recording about the adaptive charging. For me, I actually like the Welcome Hub most, which sounds so inconsequential, and it is. But I do like the idea of just being able to very easily see my battery levels, especially with my VR stuff as well. Not having to manually turn them on and then go into the control center and check the power levels. To have that displayed immediately when I boot out the PS5 will be nice. Yeah, what are you thinking?
I think it's okay, Sam.
It's okay.
Like I said before the show, I wish the customizable backgrounds applied to the PS5 home screen, not just the welcome page.
Yep.
But I will say anything that makes it easier to join voice chat. I haven't really done voice chat much on PS5, but it seems so convoluted compared to PS4. It seems like hopefully they're streamlining it more here with this shareable link stuff. But yeah.
Yeah. The voice chat isn't too bad, especially with the Discord being integrated more seamlessly now. But yeah, it still warrants some improvement, and I'm sure they know that. Yeah, no, I think people are talking about themes, and I get it, but I guess the reason they haven't done it is because they like the unique art splash screen for each tile. Software wise in terms of games, and having a theme would kind of negate that, because it would only be visible on apps on your hotbar that aren't games, right? So like Media Gallery, this Welcome Hub, yeah, that would be it. Because even like the PlayStation Store and PS Plus tiles just seamlessly open up the store. It's not like on PS4 where you could hover over the PlayStation Store icon and it wouldn't immediately boot you into a store page, because you had to actually click into it on PS4. So I do understand the fact that like themes might be somewhat redundant now. But even if it was a case of they brought themes back and then implemented an optional setting in the settings somewhere that you could toggle on or off that would override the unique art for the games on your hotbar, maybe. That's the only way around it, I would think. So that instead of seeing, when you hover over Astrobot or whatever, you don't get the Astrobot art, you just get your theme. But I don't know. The theme's really that important. Maybe that's a hot take.
I guess not. But it's so simple. Just put it in there.
Yeah, it would be a nice, like, quality of life optional feature you could have. But I don't know. I do like how they've done it, where you not only get the art, but more often than not, you also get like the music as well. with each app. We'll see though. Maybe if everyone voices their discontent enough about themes and just doesn't shut up about it, maybe they will implement it. This is certainly the closest we've gotten to themes. So
True.
like, take your wins where you can get them, people. You know.
Yeah, people.
How likely is it for Sony to capitulate at this point? You know, you just got to take what you get, eat your slop like a good boy. I'm being facetious, of course.
Good.
You can always demand better, as you should.
Yeah. Fair point. Well, we are clapping. Yeah. No clapping.
Sorry.
It's okay. It's not mixed messaging. It's discipline. Yeah.
Sorry.
Anyway, we also got a few questions, I think. Not in the show notes. Let me grab them from the chat. We got several questions from Kyle and Ty.
Mm-hmm.
So Kyle asks, do you think some people are setting themselves up for disappointment expecting the PS5 Pro to be doing 4K 60 for every game when Digital Foundry has put up videos showing that it won't be the case? I don't think Sony has advertised that as being the case. They say it's improved performance. It can apply to many games, but it's not guaranteeing it. I guess if someone walks, if the old uninformed parent or grandparent walks into GameStop looking at the PS5 Pro for their kid for Christmas, right? The expectation is that would it be doing 4K 60 for every game? I guess if you're setting yourself up for that expectation, you would be disappointed. But I think the better expectation to have is your games will just look and run better than when they did previously in I should say, in mass.
Yeah.
Not necessarily as a overall, they'll look better and run better. Not every single game will. But if you are expecting that, you will be disappointed. I just don't think that was the messaging for the consumer in this case. They just apparencies that the PS5 Pro is better, quote unquote better. Okay.
Yeah. Like obviously it will depend on exactly how PlayStation decide to market it, because they could go down a road of being a bit deceptive and suggesting that it can do that, or they'll say that it can do that.
They won't say it will do that. But I call that non-committal language. Maybe,
sure,
could,
it is,
should, may.
But what I mean is that could easily land them in hot water with a lot of people, because it's sort of like technically not deceptive, but the way that they're wording things makes it a bit murky. Yeah. There's a chance of that, of course, but I think that, again, like you said, Taylor, most people's mentality outside of like the social media bubble aren't really, as far as I am concerned, worried about specifically like 4K and 60 FPS and all of these things. The more bog standard average consumer who isn't engrossed in all of this and don't know what all the terminology is, they'll just know by hook or by crook that the PS5 Pro is the console that will have games look and run best most of the time, and that will be enough for people. But again, if you are going in expecting the PS5 Pro to be 4K 60 for everything, carte blanche, across the board, I would just argue that you're ill-informed and didn't do your research, which when you're spending $700+ you would imagine you would probably want to do a bit of research. So yeah, are some people setting themselves up for disappointment? Maybe. Those people, I guess, have it coming, is what I'd say.
Wow. Okay, Sam. Wow. Sam wants to work for Mark Cerny, right there.
I mean, how do you listen to that voice and not just like melt?
It's so funny that he's the public-facing voice for the hardware because he's such a nerd. He is not the mystic, charismatic. He's not a Sarah Bond. He's not a Phil Spencer. He's head down, work hard, Mark Cerny.
Yeah, he's far more Bill Gates than Steve Jobs.
Okay, I think he's less charismatic than Bill Gates by a fair margin too.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't. But like, I think he does have like the sort of quaint, quirky, almost adorableness that Bill Gates had, though. Like Bill Gates had like a bumbling aspect to him, you know. Like he just looked like just a guy, just a little guy, you know. And I think Mark certainly does emit some of that energy as well.
Fair enough. I'm just a little guy. What can I say?
Just a little guy.
Yep, little soy boy. Anyway, Ty asks, would it have been better if Sony fast-tracked a game from the 2025 showcase to coincide with the PlayStation 5 Pro reveal, meaning gamers get to see a new game in action?
I mean, in an ideal world, yes, but you are going to see one of those games this month in Death Stranding 2 at Tokyo Game Show. Like that is guaranteed.
Right.
Confirmed. It's happening. You'll see it running on the Pro in the presentation that they give, if not Sony's presentation at TGS as well as the separate Kojima one. So you'll see that, and yes, it would have been cool to have something in this Mark Cerny presentation, but that's not what this was about. So, and again, we've talked about it, but like Sony's position in the market means that they don't have to. Would it be better? Yes, but I think that's solely consumer centric, and of course, that's the only thing that we should be concerned about. But that doesn't change the why that they didn't, because they don't have to, and they can just hold all of that information and all of those reveals for whenever they decide they want to do it, which hopefully is soon. And I think they know that it has to be soon.
Yeah, let me see which game. Well, I mean, moving forward, I think every first-party game, they'll try to ask their developers to give it some kick for the PS5 Pro hardware.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, Ghost 2, Wolverine.
Oh yeah, anything first party absolutely will be enhanced for PS5 Pro, certainly. The second party as well.
Right. Yeah, I think it would have been if the game was ready to be fast tracked, that would have probably been the preferred option. But I'm gonna guess Sony didn't do that because they weren't ready to squeeze the schedule for the console. On Ghost 2, I think Ghost 2, I think I can say as confidently is the nearest first party release.
You would imagine so.
That hasn't been announced yet.
It wasn't.
Yeah.
I'd be surprised if it wasn't. If something else came before it, first party wise that we don't know about. But yeah, like I guess Sony has that inertial momentum right now where they don't have to do anything and they're still essentially on top by a wide margin. So I don't know what their plans are. It seems like they are never going to talk, but they obviously are going to talk at some point. They're going back to Tokyo Game Show after 5 years of absence for a reason. I don't think that's a coincidence. Whether we get a massive blowout at Tokyo Game Show, I don't think so, but that doesn't preclude an announcement or two. And this is coincidental, I guess, if nothing else, but if we're better to announce a game set in Japan than Japan, you know? Those two. Tokyo Game Show.
Yep.
That's not how these things work, but a man can dream.
Let's see. Next, Ty says, why didn't Sony reach out to Konami or Kojima to show off the PS5 Pro version of Silent Hill 2 remake and Death Stranding? I guess one. Yeah, why didn't they reach out? Why didn't Sony reach out?
Again, because they don't have to.
I don't know. They might not. Well, they might not be ready to be shown yet. for the PS5
I
Pro
mean,
versions.
Silent Hill maybe not, because it's Silent Hill's
Well,
coming out before.
Silent Hill 2 is coming out in the fall, so it should be ready if it is going to exist.
Well, yeah,
It-
Silent Hill's coming out before the Pro, but there's no doubt that it will be optimized for the Pro.
Yeah, so why didn't Sony reach out? I think the answer is Ty. Maybe they did, and they're waiting to show it for holiday advertisements.
They could have put out a JPEG of Mark Cerny, and the PS5 Pro in the first few months still would have sold very well, because it's just immediately going to be bought by the market that exists there for it already, like we talked about earlier. So they don't need to, as they are revealing this iterative console mid-gen refresh, to show off a new game or to detail an upcoming thing. They'd rather have that be a beat, like you say, over the holidays, when they are actually looking to sell these things to a wider set of consumers, rather than people that will actively pre-order. That would be my. They're sitting on software to whatever extent.
And then last question from Ty. Is there a concern that all trailers shown going forward will be running on the PS5 Pro? As the vast majority of players will still be on base PS5, you could argue marketing might become a little bit tricky. Think Xbox showcases showing up the PC build instead of Xbox. Is there a concern all trailers going forward will be running on the PS5 Pro? Okay, so I'm going to say I don't think so long as the frame rate on the base PS5 model is comparable to that's what's being shown in the trailer. Graphically, trailers get compressed a lot when people go to see them on YouTube or in a stream. So you can't really make out the graphics that well on a live stream, at least. I think it would be smart for Sony to show gameplay of games that run 60 FPS on both platforms. Also, actually, I'm gonna go back a little bit. Most consumers don't care about 30 FPS for 60 FPS. I mean, I'm gonna say it. Most people don't actually care. Given the choice, I think they prefer performance. But if they're given a new game, they'll be fine with 30, other than our little small enthusiast crowd here. Now, with that being said, I think the smarter thing to do again is, if the game can perform at a 60 FPS frame rate on base PS5, show gameplay of the game running at 60 FPS. I don't know. I don't think Sony will show 30 FPS PS5 base games. I don't think they'll show it gameplay of it being 60 FPS on PS5 Pro is the only trailer. And if they do, they should be sharing a significant disclaimer. They should share. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree that if there was going to be a tangible difference, you would want a disclaimer or clarification in not only in the trailer itself, but also blog posts subsequently after the fact. But I will also point out, and I'm not trying to make this a console thing, but the whole performance isn't an issue on PS5 with first and second party, because every game from first party that's released this generation has been 60 FPS at launch on the base PS5. So could you see a performance disparity in the Pro being the only version of the console that can achieve 60 and other things then downgrade to 30? I mean, anything's possible, but all indications suggest that first and second party support from PlayStation is guaranteed regardless of what SKU you're on to achieve 60 FPS, with obviously other options for fidelity and performance ray tracing, all of those things. So I think that they will, of course, market games first and second party at the very least going forward via the PS5 Pro version. But like you say, Taylor, most people don't care. So those that aren't really in the know will see a trailer and go, wait, games look that good on the PS5, and then will buy a version of the PS5 for the game, and aren't really that invested in the minute details. Because again, ultimately, I don't think it's going to be that sizable a difference. Yeah, in the same way that, like, I just think it isn't going to be an issue, because there won't be a performance disparity. There will be improvements on the PS5 Pro, but everything will still run at least at 60 on the base PS5, because that's what it has done for the past 4 years. And I can't see them suddenly now making first party and second party experiences that are downgraded and relegated to 30 on the PS5. That seems counterintuitive entirely. And Xbox has the issue because they show PC stuff, and then you have the Series S, which is an inherent downgrade of a SKU in comparison to the X. So you show the PC version, which is then downgraded to an extent to the Series X version, and then you go down to the Series S. Most of the time, PlayStation showcases, state of plays, aren't showing games running on PC. They're showing games captured on PS5. That may change in the future with a more PC-centric strategy. But yeah, I don't know. You're not curtailing yourself as much. I don't think that they're going to run into the same marketing issues that Xbox has, because Xbox has launched a number of first-party games and second-party games at 30 FPS, patched in 60 FPS later, but launched at 30. So until, my point being, there is only a reason for concern that this could become an issue when there is an actual issue, but thus far there hasn't been an issue with PS5. So I struggle to think that there will suddenly become one just because the Pro exists.
Fair point. All right. That said, we'll wrap up the show. Thank you all so much for listening. And you can find us on YouTube at Save the Game Media, Discord, Patreon, links are all in the show notes, Twitter at Save Game Media. Where can people find you, Sam?
Anywhere and everywhere at Samini, Heaney.
Including OnlyFans. You said everywhere.
You're damn right.
Yep. And you can find me at Mr. Carter9, MrCarterNine on PlayStation, and as TPR on the Discord.
Hell yeah.
All that said, Sam, were you doing a post show today? Did you do a post show the last 2 weeks?
No.
No. So that means we either have to do one. Today's the 15th. We either have to do one. Both of. No, we're not. Oh yeah, we have to do a post show today, Sam.
We can do a mini post show. We can do that.
All right, let's do a posty. All right.
Posty.
Patreon, $1, and you can hear us on the post show. Sam, what are we talking about today?
Posty. Like hell if I know.
Killzone.
We'll find out.
We're talking about Killzone.
Yes, that is something we could talk about.
Yeah, Sam had a great Killzone statue that kills zones. And yeah. All right. Bye-bye.